Today we're talking hot tubs. Yes, we've got a business that is turning over £5 million. They're based down in Essex and they're on the Grow with Evergreen pod because they've got some marketing challenges. Now what's interesting about this is one of our new clients. It's going to be interesting. Let's get into it. Welcome to Grow with Evergreen, the podcast designed to help you grow your business by providing practical insights into all things paid media, creative and digital strategy. Every episode, we help home, garden and lifestyle brands with their growth challenges by delving into their business, dissecting what they're doing and defining a digital growth strategy they can take and deploy into their business. Let's get into it. Right, welcome back, beautiful people. Hope you're all doing well. Right, for the, I think, second time only, we have one of our clients on the pod. So it's a rare treat for us to have one of our clients. Now, this is actually one of our new clients. They've been with us for 3 months.
That's it.
This is why, actually, I've gone all branded up today. You'll notice I've gone for the full brand look and feel because we've got one of our clients on. And not just the fleece, I should say, for all you, this is where the audio...
This is the video viewers only.
Hey, this is an exclusive for the video viewers. So if you're on Spotify, you're missing out on this. Yeah. I'm going to unzip.
Well, hold on. Bring that close to the mic.
There you go. And see, it's not just the fleece, it's the t-shirt as well. There you go. Right, anyway.
That zip sound effect.
Oh, there you go. Shall I do it again? Oh, and again.
They're going to get demonetized.
Right, amazing. But anyway, we digress. Come on, stay professional. Let's do this. Right, Aqua Warehouse is our client. It is our guest today on the pod. These are amazing business. Our guest today is called Richard. I'll bring him on in a couple of minutes. Lovely guy. We've been working with Aqua Warehouse for just 3 months. And so one of the things I'm going to do at the very top is I'm going to ask him, how's he finding working with us? Wow. So this could go really wrong. Yeah. You might have to really get your editing skills ready to go. If he comes on and it's not favourable, we're going to cut this segment out of the pod. We'll go. And the mentions where I said he's a client, we might have to forgo that. So I'm just forewarning you. But no, so Aqua Warehouse is the business. Been a client for 3 months. They came to us. I can't remember if they said they were doing ads before us or they weren't. I can't remember if they were. I think they were doing a bit.
Maybe.
We'll ask. I can't actually remember that. But we are doing their Google ads. Mm-hmm. We're doing their Meta ads. Great business, but I think relatively, the online world, they've got a website. They actually sell online, although not many people are going and buying, you're not adding a hot tub to your basket, are you?
You're not.
For the most part. But they are actually the largest showroom, I think in the south of England, or we've been there a few times. Yeah. It's huge.
But I think, Aaron, I'm just going to cut you off there and just say you've forgotten one of the most important services that we also provide for Aqua Warehouse, which is our creative services.
This is true. And actually, you were with this client, was it last week?
Yeah.
At the time of recording?
Was it last week?
Or the week before? Last couple of weeks?
Week before, I think.
Last couple of weeks. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
You were. No, you quite right. Yes. The paid and the creative. We do the creative as well. And yeah, we're doing the paid search, the paid social, the creative to ultimately grow this business. As I said, they're already doing 5 million in terms of turnover, which is amazing. Yeah. And they've got a great product. You think it's your hot tubs, your swim spas, all of that good stuff. Now, reason Richard is coming on the pod is because not just to find out how Evergreen's performing, you're going to get a real life view into that, but also we're going to discuss some of the, and really with this one, I want to build on the conversations that actually Richard and I have been having offline in terms of, as him being a client. We're going to talk about that because those first few months when you work with an agency, it's always, there's a lot to do. We've been incredibly, we've been down there once or twice to do the creative. We've been setting up, auditing the accounts and so on. And one of the conversations which we'll discuss today, the Richard and I are having very recently, is the fact that with his business, if you're buying a hot tub, if you're buying a hot tub, you don't just wake up one morning and decide to buy a hot tub. You might be thinking about that for a long period of time. Yeah. It's a very much a considered purchase. Mm-hmm. And so, and also you're going to be doing your searching online. That's inevitable. But also with him, he's got a huge showroom. So he wants to, getting footfall into that showroom is really the key to this, in terms of the campaign goals. But then it brings the question out, and a lot of people listening will be able to, watching will be able to relate to this, is how do you then track it? Because if you're driving footfall to the store, and people are just going to Google, they're only 20 minutes down the road, I'm going to pop in. How do you track that? How do you measure it? And this is one of the conversations that we've been having and going, because we can report on leads and so on, but actually, what is a lead?
Sure.
And how do we measure and track that in terms of leads into sales and footfall and so on? So that's going to be a big part of today's conversation. Now, before we bring Richard on, we have a new segment, don't we? We do. And this new segment, which is, it's the second time we've done this now. This is our paid media mysteries.
It's a paid media mystery.
Yeah.
So, Darren, over to you. Come on, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm keeping it topical this week because by the time this episode comes out, we should be right in the midst of Black Friday.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, we will. Yeah. By the time. Yeah. Nice. Okay.
It'll be around that time.
Yep.
So I thought I'd hit you with a Black Friday.
Come on, do
mystery.
it. Let's do it. Yes.
And so my question to you today is
your mystery today.
Yes, my
paid media mystery.
Mystery. Yes. On average.
Okay.
How many emails do you think a single consumer or customer receives on Black Friday?
On average. Okay, firstly, it's not technically paid media if it's email marketing, but I'll let you get away with it. This is email marketing mystery.
I'm the head of creative, not the head of paid
This is
media.
what happens when I let him do his own thing. This is what happens. Go and find me a paid media mystery. Okay, comes in with email marketing. Anyway, right, okay. We'll eventually get paid media mysteries right at some point. Last week it was, week one, it was the American in dollars. And I was like, specifically, I was like, they got to be UK, they got to be comes in with the dollars.
It's a work in progress.
Billions of dollars in the US. And now it's email marketing. I'm ribbing you, don't worry. Right, let me think. It's going to be a scary amount, isn't it? So the average person
gets
number of emails on Black Friday. My goodness me.
On average.
I mean, I guess it's probably not. It's not going to be hundreds. I wouldn't have thought. Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to go.
Do you want me to give you a very subtle hint? It's a round number.
Okay. It could be anything though.
But don't.
Okay. All right. So the average. I'm gonna go quite low. I'm gonna go 20.
Oh. It's a big X for today. It's actually 50.
Oh, wow. Okay, 50. Jeez, that is scary, isn't it?
It is. I'd say that's a lot.
I was only saying, the reason I thought lower is because I thought actually you're only really going to get email, for the most part, you're only going to be getting emails from those you're subscribed to, and how many brands is the average person subscribed to?
Well, apparently a lot.
I mean, to be fair, my wife's probably going to get at least 50.
Yeah. you have to not think about what you're going to get.
Yeah, true. I will probably get about 3 because I'm very picky about what I sign up to.
I unsubscribe to everything.
Well, you said to me before you have your main personal email, and then you have your I
have a spammy
email.
Yeah.
I bet there are people that also have that have I want that discount code, I want that coupon, but not to I don't want it spamming my email.
Yeah.
See, I don't have that. Which is probably why I'm so. Maybe I should have it, but I don't. I just have my own personal email, and that's why I'm very picky about what I do. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. There's your top tip. You need your main email, and then you need your spam email. Well, if 50 comes into the mix, imagine how many you're going to get into your spam
I'll check
email.
out my junk folder. Yeah.
Hundreds. Well, there you go. So that was. So 5th on average. I mean, there is actually. I can make a link to paid media. I can make a link.
Thank God.
Shh. Right. So. If you're running, Google Ads, think the average punter is going to be getting the average customer is going to be getting 50 emails. If the average customer is going to be getting 50 odd emails, and you're one of them, and you're thinking, Black Friday peak, we need to ramp up a thing, and just think your one email that's going to land with your offer that you've thought about and worked hard on for weeks and months, but actually. And paying to drive and get in front of that football. Just remember that when they sign up for your discount and it lands in their inbox, you're one of potentially dozens and dozens and dozens. Makes you think.
So I wonder then if there's a question of, is there a best time to send that email on Black Friday?
I mean, I would actually. Quick. So if we think about what we're doing for some of our clients, we're doing early Black Friday access and pre-sign up and all of that, and so there's getting in ahead of Black Friday. I mean, we've got some clients that are doing Black Friday for the whole month. Some that will go in a week or two early, some that will start prepping ahead of time. So
when does it end?
It kind of just becomes
before,
Black. Next it'll just be
whole
the Black year. It's just endless, isn't it? And then you go from Black Friday to Christmas. It works. It's one of those Black Friday. It works, therefore we do it. It's not all of our clients. We've got some clients that absolutely just like we don't partake. We don't partake. So fun and games. So there you go. That was a good one. So thank you. That was our paid media mystery for this week done. And I promise I'll stop ribbing you so much next time, as long as you get it right. Next week will be third time lucky.
I'll do something on creative now.
Keep it safe. Nice. Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. I think that's enough of us rabbiting on. Let's get Richard on so we can introduce his business, tell us how we're doing as an agency, and go from there. Richard, my friend, are you there?
Hi guys, how are we doing?
We're good. We're good. Richard, good to speak to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the Grow with Evergreen podcast. Right, as I said at the top, I'm all branded up sitting here. I know you can't see me, but I'm all branded up. So we've been working with you since for about 3 months. So just come on, give us a snapshot then for everyone listening in. Be kind. How's it been working with us for the last 3 months?
If you promise not to increase my bill.
Okay, done.
Because I'm going to big you up here a little bit, and I apologise, but it is the truth. No, I've been really impressed. I've dealt with a lot of different marketing agencies over the years, and right from the get go, when you first signed me up, the attention to detail and the depth you guys went into was just above and beyond, and you delved into parts I didn't know I had in my world of marketing, and that straight away gave me a warm feeling that, these guys know what they're doing. These guys are going to do something different to who I'd used before. But also, thank you. Also moving on from that, I mean, obviously that was the first sort of month or two of getting the account set up. But we've had more footfall into the showroom. End of. That's what we wanted to achieve. More people coming into the showroom, buying hot tubs. You did what you said you were going to do.
Well, we're only getting started. I mean, that's good. I mean, firstly, I'll send you that check in the post for those kind words. Thank you so much.
You promised.
But no, I'm joking. But I mean, that's good. But thank you so much for that. That's lovely. That's not why we're here, though. So I want to move on and talk about the challenges and what we've seen in the data, because I think that, as you've said there is what we've discussed is how you track leads and how you measure the success, and that's really what I want to talk about today, is how we measure the success and how we grow. Because, okay, we're 3 months into your campaign. We've had a good start. We've, really spent the first couple months getting your ducks in a row and getting things optimized and built and structured in a way that will facilitate growth and scalability, which is good. And Darren's obviously been out and done some creative, and, we've got you on ads now as well. So you actually feature, you don't mind putting your face to the brand, which we love. So that's all good stuff. But I think where I'd like to start, if it's all right, is just in terms of. Well, in fact, actually, I've just gone straight over the whole. I need to introduce Richard, don't I? God, I've got so carried away. Look, so carried away.
We're just so comfortable with each other.
Talk about Evergreen? Actually, sorry, Richard. Before we go any further, I'm going to stop myself. Give us an intro. Who are you? Your background, Aqua Warehouse. Over to you. Sell it, baby.
Okay, so Aqua Warehouse has been around 21 years. As you say, we're a hot tub, an outdoor living showroom in Chelmsford in Essex. We also do sell to showrooms and stores around the UK. We're a distributor, but the reason for our involvement with Evergreen is for our bolstering our retail presence, our retail store. As you say, it's a big indoor showroom with lots of fun, interesting stuff for people to come over and have a look around and ask us loads of questions about and hopefully purchase. So that's who we are. Yeah.
Very good. And it is an amazing show. We've been there 2 or 3 times, and it's fantastic. And it's the biggest in the south of England or the whole of England?
There's somebody up north that's got something similar. But the other thing is that there's one up north that's just sort of plunked loads of hot tubs down, in a row, where we've gone the extra mile, and it's a much more beautiful laid out showroom. It's got much more variety. It's not just the hot tubs. It's outdoor living products like outdoor kitchens and pergolas and outdoor buildings. So there's a lot more to it than just the hot tubs.
And you've got those couple of at the far side. You've got those. I think they're the swim spas, aren't they? And they're huge. Those things.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that everybody wants something slightly different. Some people want a longer one. Some people want a shorter one. Some people want it for family use. Some people want it for really hard, good on full blast swimming. So everybody wanted something slightly different. So we've got to display and show people all the different types of swim spas there are on the market. And more importantly, with a swim spa, a lot of people actually want to come over and on what we call wet test. They want to get in it and swim in it and see if they like it. So
Yeah, we missed the trick
we've
there.
created
We
this
missed-
amazing showroom. Yeah, you could have had your
we
shirts
missed the
on
trick,
and
didn't
had a tip.
I've been
Yeah, why not?
twice, and both times
I
didn't
know.
bring my
Make
shorts.
a mental note. The next time we go down there, we're taking our shorts. Honestly, unbelievable. Right, so that's good. That's perfect. That gives us steam. But yeah, so if you're watching this, listening in, and you're in and around Essex or surrounding areas, you can go far. You can't go far wrong by going down there, checking it out, speak to Richard and his team.
you.
They're amazing. So, right now, when it comes to your paid media and the stuff that we're looking after and the stuff that we're doing ultimately to drive this business forward. So, just remind me, were you pre our involvement? Just remind me, were you working with someone else to do your Google ads, your Meta ads, stuff like that, or not?
Yeah, I've gone through a few different agencies over the years, yeah, they've all had a crack at it. And
Fine. Okay.
yeah.
But we're spending. So what we're doing, just to set the scene, because obviously with this one I know more than I know for most guests because I actually know your data. So what we're doing for you, and there'll be lots of businesses that have physical showrooms and stores that will be able to relate to this setup. Is we have got localized Google ads running. So we've got ads that are anyone that's looking for hot tubs or swim spas, etc. in and around the Essex area. That is who we are targeting. And that makes all the sense in the world to be doing that in terms of marketing activity, because they are people that are within our target area and they are going onto Google or Bing and they are actively looking for a hot tub. You know, whether they're looking for a showroom or they're actively searching. So they are showing intent, which is why I think Google Ads for this kind of product is a no-brainer. And if there are any other hot tub brands listening, get in touch, because we work with Richard and Essex, we work with one or two others, but there's lots of the UK that we don't cover. So reach out if that's you, and we'll have a chat. And also, I think, Richard, because one of the things that we've obviously discussed when we were first talking to you is the average order value for you is fantastic. What's your average sale price? Do you know?
Somewhere between 7,000 and 10,000 average.
Yeah, amazing. So, you know, these kind of price point items are really good for Google Ads, as long as you can get in front. And so what we're able to do for your business is make sure that we can target the ads. And you don't even need huge budgets for our ads. You know, we're not spending thousands and thousands and thousands every month through ad. We don't need to, because we're only trying to appeal to a set demographic or geo-target area. And I think for any business where you operate within a set area, that's something, it's a very easy way of wasting money. And one of the things we observed when we took over this account was that actually the money wasn't necessarily being spent in the best ways, and we were getting people outside of our core target area. We're also doing meta ads. So but again, we're mainly using meta ads for retargeting, which again is that lovely balance that I talk about a lot, which is Google is great for prospecting. People are raising their hand, they're showing intent, they're actively saying, right, I'm looking for a hot tub. And then Meta, we again localize it, so we target it around Essex. And we're mainly doing retargeting to make sure that we can stay top of mind. Because Richard, do you know the average, how long it might take someone from their first inquiry through to when they might buy? What does that look like on average?
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. People just don't just drop everything and go out and buy a hot tub. It's a journey. So often they'll Google, they'll do a bit of research, then they might spend a weekend driving around a few showrooms having a look, and then they might go back and have another little think and do a bit more Googling and a bit more thinking. And yeah, I would say quite often people visit the showroom a couple of times before they'll make a final decision. And some people will take months and months to make a decision, if not a year. The meta side of things makes an awful lot of sense to keep putting it in front of their mind and getting them to perhaps look at our Facebook page and see what other things we're up to. Because if you were going to spend £10,000 with a company, I think you'd want to know a little bit more about them, wouldn't you? You want to get a feeling as to who they are and what they do, and do you trust them? Because, I always compare it to the car industry, that if I was going to go buy a new car tomorrow, I could go out and buy a Mercedes confident that it's a Mercedes and it's a great brand and I'm going to get a good experience. But most people wouldn't know a good brand of hot tub from a bad brand. So how do you, as a potential customer, make a good decision? And the best way to do that is to do your research and think about it, and don't rush into it, and And this is the type of thing where people will then go onto your Facebook page afterwards and find out a little bit more about you, and perhaps go back and revisit your website and have a little bit more delving into the background of Aqua Warehouse and how long we've been going and what we've been up to before they make that final decision.
You're absolutely right. And that's what, you see in the data. We see the lag between, someone potentially picking up the phone, making an inquiry, which we're going to come on to and discuss. The lag that, from that through to someone ultimately buying is going to be, a significant period of time for the most part. Now, one of the things I want to touch on there that you just mentioned, which I think is you do incredibly well, and you've been doing it for years, is you are an advocate and you are very happy to be the face of the brand. You get yourself out there, which again, I think is quite rare. Not many I do it for Evergreen, but not many business owners are confident, happy, willing to essentially put their face to it, put their build their personal brand. And as you say, it ties into exactly what you said, because you've got the technical bits and pieces in terms of meta retargeting. We can keep the brand top of mind. Yes, that needs to be done. But it becomes infinitely more impactful if we have a variety of messages, and we can not just showcase the product. Because ultimately, we could run meta ads for you or for anyone where we just repeatedly try and ram the product down someone's throat. Go, look, here's the product, here's the product, here's the product. Fine. That's for some people that will work, but for a lot of people it won't, because exactly to your point, they need a little bit more. Why Aqua Warehouse versus the next competitor in Essex? And I think that's where, for me, the personal brand, the stuff that you're willing to do and have been doing, makes a difference. And so I just want to delve into that. Because you've been creating videos long before our involvement. Just give us a little flavour, a bit of your background, and sort of when did you first sort of think, actually, video is going to be quite a powerful mechanism for us to be able to use, and if I humanise my brand, if I put my face to it, my name to it, that's going to help with our marketing, with building our brand. When did you first discover that, and what's that journey looked like since? Before we go any further, are you enjoying today's episode? If so, you'll love our other show, Tea Talks. They're short, informal chats where the Evergreen experts and I share actionable nuggets on all things paid media, creative and digital strategy that we use daily when growing our clients' businesses. And best of all, much like this podcast, it's completely free. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, see the link in the description. Now, let's get back to it.
Well, what I want you to think about for a second is that if you talk to anybody that's been in the sales industry for many, many years, or in the customer journey industry, is they will tell you that most often you buy from the person. People think
Absolutely.
You buy from the company, or
people
you buy the
from
product.
people.
Yeah, they do. And when somebody visits a showroom for a high ticket item, if that salesperson isn't on the ball or doesn't say the right things or has little knowledge, you can turn somebody off, and it doesn't care how great the product is. That customer might walk out the door if you're not on the ball. So you've got to get that across, both in the showroom, but also to get them into the showroom in the first place, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Let's be fair. People go onto your website and have a look around and stuff, but they don't know the person, do they? Just looking on a website. So why not create some videos where they can see the person, and then they get a feel that, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. Oh, this guy seems quite a friendly sort of guy. So that's where we created the video, so that people would come onto our website in their journey looking for a wonderful hot tub, but also see a video with some people in it that would give them that feeling of assurance that they're going to get looked after at Aqua Warehouse. That was what we were trying to purvey, that we're knowledgeable people, we're nice people, we're friendly people, and we're going to look after you here. Come over and see us, we're going to look after you. And that's what we tried to portray with the videos. But also, it wasn't that many years ago when suddenly the video world went crazy with Google and YouTube and stuff. And it was apparent that, Google was basically saying, if you've got video content, we're going to prioritize you. Google love video. It's well-known fact now, but going back 10 years or so, it wasn't so important. And we very quickly got on the bandwagon and realized that we've got to create video content for our websites, for Google to like us and rate us higher.
Yep. Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly it. And that's, you know, if you bring that all the way forward to today, the most recent round of creative that we've just done for you now, that you feature in one. Is it one, Darren? Is it one of the ads that Richard's in, or because we've got how many
of them.
have we
So
just done now?
there's 3 that we recorded
Okay.
with Richard in. It'll be 1 going out, but
Right.
we have the others that we can use.
One's going out for this campaign, and then because we
have
run
the
on
others.
campaigns,
We don't
so
want to do all the 3 similar
we'll just,
things.
Yeah, a
so-
little bit of Richard now, a
Yeah.
little bit of Richard later.
But we've got lots of Richard left over.
Exactly that. There you go. Exactly.
Oh, I don't know the way you're saying that. That sounds
don't
awful. A bit of Richard left over. Who wants a bit of leftover Richards?
We don't want to give everyone all, you know, we don't want to give the customers all of the goodies straight away. We've got to keep them waiting. So, but yeah, no, I think, but because we've also got some non-Richard focused content, haven't we? That's very much the product.
Yeah, because we
balancing
had models.
We did. You did.
Yeah.
You did.
We
Yeah.
had some wonderful models.
Yeah.
We got some photos. We got some video.
Just talk us through,
We had,
because what did
we
you
had a laugh.
What did
We
you just
did.
talk us through that? Because you went out and
Yeah,
we've actually
yeah.
turned it into an uncut.
It's an uncut, yeah.
Would have come out before this comes out.
Archie, who came with me,
Yeah.
he's in our creative team here at Evergreen. He's actually sat right next to me now. He doesn't have a mic, so he can't talk, but he is here.
You can talk about him because
I
you can't
can
say
talk
anything.
about him, yeah. Don't say that about the viewers, Archie. That's horrible. But no, it's so we had 2 lovely models star in the ads, which were the target audience.
Yep.
Who Richard knows personally, I believe, and they were brilliant.
Looked like you had good fun doing it.
Yeah, we had a great time,
Yeah.
and more importantly, I think we got exactly what we were looking for.
It's that
which
mix
is-
of creative,
is
because
great.
now we're going to be able to do you know, in terms of just so that the viewers, this could sort of picture we've got is these ads are going to go up on Meta, because
Yeah.
Meta is the most
Yeah.
visual platform, and it's going to be a combination of some of the ads put the product as the hero,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but again, we've got it, here's the product, and then here's the lifestyle element of
Yeah.
product being used
Yeah,
effectively, and then there's a very different video and style of creative where it's more Richard, just, you know, there's a stronger
That's
call to
it,
action,
yeah.
come down, and I think that mix
Yeah.
we can then work that into a funnel so that we can
That's
drip
it.
feed different creative with different messaging to that audience to stay top of mind.
Mm-hmm.
That sequence becomes very powerful.
Yeah, well, I mean, you said it before, people buy from people.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important part of why we like to, not all the time, but as much as we can, get people in the ads.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it does make the difference. It's more, it's relatable. You know,
It
you
is.
can see that. You're like, okay, this is, and I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, it's really good. And as I said, not, you know, it's not all of our clients are comfortable being on camera and want to be the face of it, and that's fine. And you know, we in that case we use models and stuff like that. But I think that you know, in this case with Richard's, you know, willingness to be on camera, great. It enables us to, as you say, because people will come down, Richard, and I'm sure they do, is they'll go, oh, I saw you, you know, I saw you on the ad. And
Yeah.
how instantly there's that sort of rapport.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I
this
mean,
is something you've got to be a bit careful, because you've got to be, from a business owner's point of view, you want to be careful it's not your ego leading this round. But,
True.
from a salesman's point of view, when somebody comes into the showroom and they start talking about something and then they say, oh, you know, you're the guy in the advert, aren't you? A real icebreaker. Oh,
Yeah,
you know, you have a
exactly
little
that,
laugh about it and say, oh yeah, it's my claim to fame and all that. Hope you enjoyed the video. And they go, oh yeah, we know, we found it really useful and we watched it and we like that point you made about the so and so. And it just makes life so much more engaging in the showroom when they've watched the video. They already feel like they know you a little bit.
that's exactly what I was going to say, and that's what we find
with
our own content.
really
Whenever
is.
we go to see anyone, like most of the time now, I would say people have already.
We've been doing this for the best part of a
watched
year
us.
now, and everyone is, as you say, it's, if someone has seen your content, watched you, you know, they're more. There's that rapport. They instantly feel more comfortable. They're more willing to be open and honest and have a conversation. So, yeah, I think it's really good, and I'm loving the fact that we can do that. So that's the creative, and I think that's what's working. And as I say, we're running ads, and you know, we know and we will. The first 3 months has been good. We've seen some good results. Just really, by all we've done to this point, and you know this, is we've just done lots of fixing, putting the foundations in place. From here, we know to a degree there's seasonality that plays a role in your business as well. But we know that next year, is going to be incredible, because we now know we've got the founders in place, and now we can just start to scale, and we know that every pound being invested is being spent wisely. We're getting the right clicks that are people looking, and we've got frankly a funnel whereby we know that we can get people into that funnel, and then we can nurture them through with a combination of online and in-store, which is ultimately what's going to grow the business, and that's going to be interesting. But one of the challenges that you have, that a lot of people listening and watching this will be able to relate to, regardless of the product, is the inability or the lack of accuracy when it comes to lead tracking. Richard, do you want to just, from your perspective, because you and we've spoken about this previously, do you want to just give your take on what you foresee as the problem when it comes to leads and ability? Oh, you've had X amount of phone calls or form inquiries. What's the business owner reality of what you see and feel?
Yeah, so the trouble is that, yes, we get loads of form filled in, but most of them are rubbish. Unfortunately, that's the best way I could describe it. Not that they're rubbish, but they're just not the type of leads that we're talking about. There may be somebody saying, "Oh, have you got a filter for my XYZ hot tub?" They've already got a hot tub, or who do I need to speak to about booking in a service for my hot tub? Well, okay, that's all good things for the business, but it's not what we were really trying to achieve, and that's not a sales lead, is it? That's just a point of contact. But for whatever reason, they've gone online and Googled Aqua Warehouse and gone to fill the form in, and it's created a form. So it's hard to sort of distinguish those from a sales lead. Also phone calls. Yes, the phone rings all day long. Does a member of staff track that as I must make a note that was somebody that was actually interested in buying a hot tub? But often those phone calls aren't a long conversation. Most people that buy a hot tub come in the showroom to do their chat. The phone calls only probably to say, "Are you open?" or "Are you open on Sunday? Can I pop in?" or something like that. It's not really a salesy conversation. Most people are coming into the showroom. What we do though is when people come in the showroom and they've spent half an hour with us walking around the showroom, asking us loads of questions and doing all their research, is say to them, "Oh, by the way, we're a bit tucked out of the way here. How did you hear about us?" Sure. That's the point where we're recording. And most of the time, 90 odd times out of 100, it's Google. It's either my friend recommended you, or it's Google. But then again, what's Google? Which bit of Google was it?
Exactly.
Was it a natural listing? Was it a paid for ad? And I can't drill a customer down and say, "Well, I need to know more than that." I'm not going to let you get away with just telling me it's Google. I can't do that. I just have to take it on the chin.
Exactly what did you search for? It's that, isn't it? It's exactly what did you search for exactly? No, that is such a valid point, and it's going to be so relatable to so many people that will listen and watch this, because they have the same. We have it across our portfolio of clients, where your local businesses, where you have a specific a specific target area, and where we know the customer journey combines both online and offline. It is a conundrum. It is a difficult. So I think, if you're watching this and you're thinking, "Yeah, that's me," how do you get around it, essentially? And so I think what we're doing with Richard, what we're doing with our other clients that are very similar to this, all within the home and garden lifestyle space, is we set up from a conversion standpoint the things you should be tracking. So you want to be tracking your phone calls in. You want to be tracking your inquiries, your form leads, and so on. So all of that stuff is good to track. It makes common sense to be tracking it. But to Richard's point, it's never going to be a true representation of actually what happened. So what we do, we have spreadsheets set up where we will input what we're tracking in terms of, right, this is how many leads, and this is how many leads we got this month compared to last month, and this is how it compares to last year, and so on. And these are the different types of leads. So I think tracking that is important. But also what we try and ask our clients to do is report on what they're also seeing, in as much as they are able to record it. And we've got some clients where they can say, well, we do track everyone that phones. We do say, where do you get us from? And it's the classic Google. It is that. Others clients where they struggle to do that because frankly there's too much going on in their big showrooms or their big stores that's not realistic to do. when that's the scenario, what then happens is a good way around this, and something with Richard and with various others, is we then go, well, let's look at revenue, because ultimately with what you want to be seeing is trends. And what we do and what we're doing with Richard, although it's fairly early stages, but for all of our other clients, is we look at trends. So what we want to say is we can't track how many calls are going to turn into qualified leads and then qualified leads into sales. We can't do that. But what we can do is understand that a proportion of those are going to be good quality. Therefore, if the number of phone calls we've had this month is up a third on last month or last year or whatever the case may be, then logic would dictate that a proportion of those inquiries, those leads, those phone calls are going to be, and I liken it to the fraying, a high tide raises all the boats. And I think there has to be, with service-based businesses or product-based businesses, as is the case here, when you've got an omni-channel experience, an offline and an online, and then potentially back as offline again, you have to factor in that you're never going to be able to correlate all of your marketing efforts. But if you look cumulatively at all of the efforts going in versus what's coming out. And I think so for the conversation that we've been having, Richard, is you've said even the last 3 months, you're feeling that, aren't you? You can start to see the first green shoots in terms of you felt busier in the showrooms.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite happy. I'm quite lucky in a way that I'm quite a hands-on sort of business owner. I'm here, pretty much every day and see it and feel it. And we track very deeply customers coming in the showroom and people buying a hot tub. So, and obviously because it's a high ticket item, you don't have to sell many 10 grand hot tubs each week to sort of notice a trend.
Sure.
So I'm 100% confident in the fact that you have made a difference to my business. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I don't need to know how many forms were filled in or clicks were made to know that you have had an impact, a positive impact on my business. Yes, I'd love to have that in some sort of data-driven method. But again, if I was a business owner looking at it from a distance away, that might not be so easy. But because I'm quite hands-on, I'm able to see those physical sales, and ask the staff, how did that person, how did they hear about us? Where did that sale come from? Unless something else miraculously is happening and suddenly the whole UK is suddenly much more affluent, then it must be down to you guys.
Yeah, well, and that I think, but that's where your insight in terms of just saying, we're feeling that, we're seeing that, and I think I just want to reassure others that that's fine to do. If you can't nail it down and go, we can attribute, and I've had this conversation with other clients where they've had to just say, the only measure I can have is one, sort of gut feel based on what I'm seeing and hearing and feeling in the business, and two, the P&L at the end of the month, in terms of I can see there's a correlation here. I can't attribute it. I don't know where those sales are exactly coming from, but I can see we've made more than we did last month or this time last year. And I think,
but I can also, sorry to interrupt, but I can also see from what you've done. As I've used a variety of other agencies before that have got involved in my Google ads and Meta, etc., and none of them did anything like the level of intricacy that you guys have done, and I can see the difference. I'm trying to think of the word in Facebook with people commenting. What do they call it? Interactions on Facebook.
Like engagement. Yes,
Engagements. Thank you. That I never had before. That we never had before. Those every day. Those Meta ads are being seen and people are interacting that I've never seen before.
There you go. That's Darren's creative right there. That's what that is.
I'll make sure to include that bit in the trailer for this episode.
Yeah, that's going to feature in the trailer. Of course it is. But that's he's not going to get his head out of the room. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Meta. The key for Meta. You win or you lose with Meta these days with creative, because you've got fewer targeting options. We've put the basics in place, and we've made sure that the ads are very targeted, and that they're very efficient. They're very efficient. They're very optimized. And then it's the creative that makes the world of difference, because it's really good creative. There's strong calls to action. There's great visuals. We're humanizing it. We're putting your face on it. All of those little things, they make a difference. And that is what will be, make a difference, which is great. And as you say, I think there's always that balance of you're going to see it and feel it, and then ultimately you as a client, you're happy the business is growing, and that but from a marketer's perspective, we're always going to want to be able to track and go, because we want to be able to see, well, we're data people, so we want to be able to see, well, we did this and it had a correlation with that. And sometimes we have to just accept that actually we can't do that. We can see, there's a great marketing saying, isn't there? It's half of my, I forget who it originally by, it's really old, but it's half of, who can you Google this? Who was it who said, half of my marketing works, I just don't know what half. And that is so true these days. Half of my marketing works, I just don't know which half. And I think that is for so many businesses where you have an online and omnichannel experience, that is so true. I think the guys will find it in a minute, but I think that's really really key point. And I think for anyone listening and thinking, I really want to be able to nail this down, ultimately, even if you can't and you can just see and feel it, that's fine. We're gonna, because if you're gonna be able to relay back to us, okay, this is working, this isn't. So moving on. Have you found it?
Yeah, so it's by a guy apparently called John Wanamaker, who was a US retail magnate.
Yeah, that's okay. I knew it was from the US.
A long time ago. How old?
It's really old, isn't it?
From
1922 he passed away.
Yeah,
When was it?
early 1900s.
Yeah, I know it's like a really, really. I read a book. I
Yeah.
can't remember. I read a book a while ago.
They were
where,
talking about marketing back then.
Yeah, of course they were. Hey, the best marketing principles are ones from like 100 years ago.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
The media has changed, but the principles remain.
I am all for, I lap up old-fashioned marketing principles, the psychology of marketing, the persuasion, all of that. I love that. You go read the old-fashioned marketing stuff, amazing, way better than the modern
There is
stuff.
another person it's often attributed to, which is in the UK, which is an industrialist called Lord Leverhulme.
Okay.
Don't know any.
It's the American reference I knew from the early 1920s. Did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we digress. So, but yeah, I think that is the ability to track leads is not always having to be the holy grail, and I think it's an important point to mention, because I know so many brands and businesses get really het up on, the only way I'm going to be able to judge success is if I can attribute every single lead. And we've got some clients that we won recently where they've really focused in on, I really want to be able to track every single lead to know that if this is working or not. And I'm like, the reality of it is we're not going to be able to do it. We're just not. If we think about your customer, you're not going to be able to do it. And, that's just an interesting conversation we have to have. Now, Richard, one thing before we sort of look to wrap things up, one thing I want to do, because you mentioned to me that you're about to do some TV advertising, aren't you? Or you're in the middle of doing it right now. Which
Yes,
we've never
decided
spoken
to,
about TV.
give that a
You're
try.
going to be a TV star. How did that come about? What is that you're going to do? Because I think there'll be others that might take that. I think, I want to do a bit of that. What does that look like?
Well, it's interesting because I have considered the fact that Darren might be able to help me in the creative side of things on that in the future, but we'll come
Quick,
on
Darren,
to that
listen up.
on another
We've
stage.
got a potential. We've got some more work here. Quick, listen up.
But I mean, it came about because I was sitting in front of the TV one night and watching some, whatever it was, it doesn't matter what I was watching, but this advert that came up that said the word Chelmsford, and I live in Chelmsford. And I thought, wow, it must know I live in Chelmsford. It must know. So that prompted me to phone Sky and have this conversation with the rep, shall we say? And I was enthralled by the new ways that they can drill down into an exact postcode, even to a road. They could say, well, I only want to put this advert out to people that live in that road. I mean, if they could, it's amazing. So because of that, they're able to resell the airspace many times over compared to somebody advertising a normal. Back in the day, say 10, 15 years ago, you put an advert on and it would cover the whole country, wouldn't it? So you had to,
Sure.
They had to charge a lot of money for that 30-second advert because it was they could only sell it once, if you know what I mean. Whereas if they could sell that 30-second slot to me in Chelmsford and to you over in Oxfordshire and so somebody else in Southend or whatever, they're going to get a lot more revenue for it, which is good for Sky, but it's also good for me as a business because I can pay for an advert that only goes out in my local area, which is exactly what I want, but at a much lower price. So it actually becomes much more affordable because I sat there thinking, well, I wonder what an advert would cost me. And I thought, it's got to be 50, 100 grand, something like that. And I just don't have that sort of budget. When the Sky guy said, well, no, you're probably looking at a few grand. Oh,
Yeah, love
oh,
that.
now that's quite interesting. And all right, but the production costs are going to be horrendous, aren't they? Surely the production costs are going to be like 30, 40 grand or something. No, it's not. Because as Darren will tell you, with the technology we have these days, with the amazing cameras that you can get, so cheaply, your production costs are a lot less. I mean, okay, it's not quite as easy as getting your iPhone out or whatever, but
Sure.
the costs are a lot less. So I'm going to have a go. I'm going to have a go. Now,
There you
whether it's going
go.
to work or not, I will let you know.
But that's going to be another one. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, we've got,
Well, yeah, I mean, as you say, with the technology coming along, it's so much easier to do. And actually, I just wanted to make a point there. You said about how it's not as easy as just pulling out your iPhone. But Danny Boyle's latest film, 28 Years Later, which I think is the sequel to 28 Days Later, which is coming out like next year,
Right.
is the first blockbuster film to be fully shot on an iPhone.
Really?
So,
Wow.
even
Wow.
an iPhone apparently is going to be used these days for a feature
Amazing.
film.
Well, firstly, there's two things spring to mind for me on that, on what you've just said, Richard. Firstly, I'm glad we've got you on the pod now before you become a big TV star and then you don't want to come on. And the second thing the second thing rings true for what we were just saying about the lead thing, because you're going to have off the back of that is you're not going to be able to directly track that. So the only way you're going to be able to track the success of that is what you're going to see in store. Maybe people coming in going, oh, it's you from the TV. It's going to have to be that sort of indirect kind of gut feel. We've had more sales and more people have maybe mentioned that they saw us on the TV. So again, it's not specific, but I think that's the reality for a lot of small businesses when they operate within a set area where as I say, they have a considered purchase where someone is not. It's different when it's leads versus e-commerce. If you're e-commerce, you go, you buy, you're done. With this, there's a consideration. There's sometimes I say weeks and months, and I think. But what's from our perspective, knowing you're doing that, because I didn't know you were doing that. Knowing you're doing that is really good, because that's going to be yet another string to our bow. And I'm already thinking, but you'll have to keep us posted. I know you will, but when that is going to due to come out and stuff like that, because. In fact, I'll take this off air and talk to you about it, because if you've had any call to action, because ideally that's what we would have done. Because if we tracked that, what we could have done is we could apply a specific URL, which we could even do on the post edit of the ad. If we know the ad's going out, you can see my brain's going with this. Because if we could drive people to a specific page on the website, we could track it, and then we could retarget specifically on that.
The trouble is you've only got that split second for them to think in their mind, Aqua Warehouse. They're not going to write down a URL, are they?
They're not going to write down a URL, but there's all sorts of ways we could do it by giving them a code or something. I haven't seen what you've ultimately produced, so I'll follow up with you on it. But I think if we can, we can. If we can't, we can't, because there's some other interesting stuff we could do. And the good thing is, with your current Google and Meta ads, we're already retargeting. So even if they just come to the website, they're still going to then see the ads across Google and Meta. And that's the point: is anyone that comes into our ecosystem, they are then going to be retargeted. And we now do a very good job of staying top of mind without annoying them, because we set the low frequency, but we stay top of mind for those folks once they've entered, until they actively say, I'm no longer interested in this, which from a business perspective is great, because we know some people might take weeks or months to make a decision. And so that those little nudges is a really good and a very powerful thing to do. Love it. Interesting. Now, was there anything else, Richard, that you wanted to cover or discuss or ask? Otherwise, I'll sort of wrap things up. But I loved your point at the very end of your application, which I'll come on to. But was there anything else?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
I think we're good.
Enjoyed it.
I think I think we're a few months in. We've had a lot of fun. We love working with you. I think massive thank you for coming on the podcast.
My pleasure.
I think it's a great business. Anyone in and around Essex, if you're thinking of a hot tub or you want to go and have a dip and do what Darren and I didn't do, and take your shorts and go and check out, because I know, because we've physically been there more than once. There's some amazing products there, so make sure you go and check out Aqua Warehouse.
And guys, I'm going to jump in as well, because you're giving me the post. But guys, anybody considering Evergreen, my experience of them 3 months in has been exceptional. These guys know what they're doing. Aaron does talk a bit fast for me. I have to try and keep up with him, but these guys are really on the ball, and I'm so pleased to be doing business with you. So thank you for your time.
Ah, pleasure, Richard. That's very sweet. Thank you. Now, on that was what I was going to wrap this up, because you did say this, and it actually made me laugh out loud when I read it on your application that you filled in. Is you put any questions you want to ask at the end of the episode, and you literally did write, "Does his brain always work that fast?" question, which I just thought was the answer is yes, it does. I can't help it, but. I love it. I love this stuff. I love talking to brands. I love working with great brands like yourself. So thank you. It's been good fun. Mate, Richard, thank you so much. We'll be in touch as ever. But thank you so much for joining us on the pod. Appreciate it.
Cheers, guys.
Well, there you go. That was Richard. Only the second client we've ever had on the pod. He's brilliant, isn't he? He's just
great.
He's so good. Just love working with nice people. We just like working with nice people where they just want to just grow the business, but just have fun. And the fact for me, the cherry on the cake is that he likes getting on film. He's up for it. And we're only a few months in, but the ideas we've come up with so far, is, let's do it. Let's do it. And that, from a marketing perspective, because with the social content we're putting up there, it's, you've got to have a bit of fun with it. How many times are we saying you just got to showcase your personality? And when you do that, it just works. And he's already feeling it. It's 3 months in.
That allows you to then raise that bar continuously, because if you're able to do those things right away without that restriction, then it's just like, well, what's next? What can we do more?
Yeah, how do we just keep doing different things? Exactly that. We need to get Richard an hot tub. That's what we'll do next time.
Yes. All of us.
All of us, there you go. We can all just be there. I love it. Right, well, maybe not. Right, there you go. Right, we'll wrap this one up here. Thank you so much for joining us. I mentioned it on the last episode. I'll mention it again now. Tea Talks, our other show. Not only can you get that through the eyes, but you can now get it through the ears as well. Yes, Tea Talks is now available on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. So little 15, 20-minute bite-sized paid media and creative little insights that you can now get on those platforms. So if you haven't, make sure you subscribe, check those out. Thank you so much for joining us. As ever, I've been Aaron. I've been all branded up. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.